wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and best wishes to all of us. All praise be to God Almighty, the merciful and the most kind, who creates the world to all mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lia Marlia. It is a wonderful and precious chance for me to be the host of the opening ceremony of the International Students Talk Series 1, International Students Response on the COVID-19 Pandemic, a collaboration between Telkom University and Universitas Islam Indonesia. Distinguished guests, Universitas Islam Indonesia's Vice Rector for Networking and Entrepreneurship, Bapak Insinyur Wiryono Raharjo, MR PhD, Universitas Islam Indonesia's Director of Partnership and International Office, Ibu Dr. Renat Yansari Utami, Sarjana Psikologi, MA, Director of Global Exchange Office, Duy Tan University, Vietnam, Mr. Quoc Ngoyen or Mr. No, Telkom University's Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, and Partnership, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Rina Pujiastuti, MT, Telkom University's Director of Strategic Partnership and International Office, Ibu Lia Yuldinawati, STMM, the Manager of Telkom University's International Office, Ibu Indah Fajarwati. Last but not least, all participants from Telkom University, Universitas Islam Indonesia, and other universities or schools. Also, I would like to mention our speakers for today, who's here now. It is a pleasure for me to announce that this is the umpteenth time Telkom University collaborates with Universitas Islam Indonesia. Previously, we held 2 Campus Merdeka webinars together, few online sharing, and mobility programs with Mapua University, Philippines, that we called P2A Virtual Journey 2020. Today, Telkom University and Universitas Islam Indonesia together present the International Students Talk Series 1, International Students Response on the COVID-19 Pandemic. This is proof that the COVID-19 pandemic is actually a momentum where collaboration between institutions should actually be even tighter. Ladies and gentlemen, let us start the opening ceremony of the International Students Talk Series 1 by singing Indonesia National Anthem. Thank you, everyone. We would like to invite Telkom University's Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, and Partnership, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Rina Pujiastuti, MT, to give a welcoming speech.
Thank you, Ibu Lia. Honorable Pak Wiryono Raharjo, PhD, Vice Rector for Partnership and Entrepreneurship, UII. Ibu Dian Sari Utami, Director of Partnership and International Office, Universitas Islam Indonesia. Ibu Lia Yuldinawati, Director of Partnership and International Office, Telkom University. Mr. Po Nguyen or Mr. No, Director of Global Exchange Office, Dutan University, Vietnam. Nadhira Afifa and speakers from Telkom University, Kumoh National University, South Korea, and Dutan University, Vietnam. The international office team from Telkom University and Universitas Islam Indonesia, and participants. Good afternoon, everyone, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
On behalf of Telkom University and also Universitas Islam Indonesia, it is my pleasure to welcome you the first series International Students Talk, collaborations between Telkom University and Universitas Islam Indonesia. Today talk will be discuss about international students' response on the COVID-19 pandemic. As well as now, the COVID-19 pandemic has not stopped. It has affected people regardless on nationality, level of education, income, and gender. The COVID-19 pandemic has also had several impact on higher education as universities closed their premises and countries shut down their borders in response to lockdown measures. According to the report, young and COVID-19 impact on jobs, education, rights, and mental well-being. So, 65% of young people reported having learned less since the beginning of the pandemic because of transition from classroom to online and distant learning during lockdown. Despite their effort to continue studying and training, half of them believe their studies will be delayed and 9% thought that they might fail. Based on that, Telkom University together with Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Islam Indonesia held student talks with the aim of sharing in this pandemic. We hope students can share on how to make the learning process effective in these conditions and how to stay active and productive in all the limitations caused by the pandemic. The first session, we will listen to Nadhira Afifa sharing on how she can adapt to the COVID situations until finally graduating and becoming one of the best graduates of Harvard Chan School of Public Health. In the second session, we will hear sharing from international students from Kumoh National University, South Korea, Dutan University, Vietnam, and Indian students who are currently studying in Indonesia. Great speakers. We are sure that their sharing will give interesting and useful insights for all of us so that we can remain positive during this pandemic. I would like thanks Pak Wiryono Raharjo PhD and Universitas Islam Indonesia. Thank you for making a sustainable program with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here today. Stay safe and stay healthy. Let's hope that this pandemic will end soon. Insyaallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih semua. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Rina. Before we end the opening ceremony of the International Students Talk Series 1, we would like to invite all guests and participants to join a virtual group photo. So kindly turn on your camera. Okay. On 3. Slide 1. On three, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Slide 2. On three, 1, 2, 3. Okay, last slide. On three, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. We finally come to the end of the opening ceremony agenda. Thank you for your participation and attention. After this, all participants are welcome to stay in the room to start the International Students Talk Series 1 with our guest star, Indonesian, who's a Harvard University's alumni, Nadhira Nuraini Afifa. So enjoy the talk show and we will see you after the break. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, participants, since we are still waiting for our guest star to join the Zoom meeting room, we're going to take a break a little bit longer, 20 minutes from now. So it's okay if you'd like to do any activities, some activities after now. But please kindly join us 20 minutes from now. Thank you very much. Okay, participants, thank you so very much for staying with us. We are still waiting for our guest star, Nadhira, but we want to ask you to play game. And we have results. We have door prize like e-money that we want to share with the participants who can win or who won the games. It's a Kahoot game, so it's very easy. And the question is around COVID-19. I think all of us mostly already know about this general knowledge. So, operator, can you please share the screen so we can start the Kahoot game? Okay, here we go. We have 10 minutes to play this game. This is a Kahoot game, and the question, it's like a quiz. The question is around COVID-19 pandemic. So I hope that everybody is already know about this. So kindly go to kahoot.it and then enter the game PIN 9877505. Okay, thank you Mutia and Bima Elang Nale for joining the game. And Shafira, Kumala, thank you so much. Okay, wow. We have 10 participants now. We have around 10 questions or 5 questions. Okay, wow. Well, in this room, we have 164 person who's already joining the Zoom meeting. Now we have, Mr. Nu, thank you for joining us. Fiona and Iza, Nur Shaha, also Valentina, Azkar, Imuti, Dian, Jernifa. So, I think we can start the game because we don't have much time since Nadhira can join us in a minute now. Okay, we're waiting for 60 participants. Here we go. Yeah, most of you answered correctly. It's SARS and MERS. So who's leading now? Jane, our speaker today. Jane, congratulations. And question number 3. A vaccine stimulates your immune system to produce antibodies like it would if you were exposed to the virus. Is it true We have 88 answers. And most of you are correct. It's true. Still Jane. Congratulations, Mbak Topan. You move up to number 4. There are currently vaccines for the following coronaviruses. Which one is the correct answer? Okay, 1. Yes, none of the above. So we don't have vaccines yet. And 51 of you answered correctly, and Dima Elang Nale is now on the lead. Okay, we are almost halfway. How many vaccine candidates for COVID-19 have been proposed? 10, 25, 100, or 100? Okay, it's correct. It's 32. The answer is the answer is 120 plus. Sugeng Warsito is having the best score in that question. Virus is mutating rapidly. True or false? False. 21. Only 21 of you answered correctly. So it's Valentina now who's lead. Okay, and question number 7. How does weather seem to affect the novel coronavirus? Yes, okay. 4 seconds, 3, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is it is not yet known. Okay, Valentina is still on the lead. Next question. Currently, which group has had more severe effects of COVID-19? Is it men or women? Men or women? Let's find out. Yes, it's men. But most of you answer women. Okay, this is the last scoreboard. Okay, ninth question. Question. COVID-19 has currently been detected on all 7 continents. Is it true or false? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's false. The answer is false. Oh, Jane is coming back. Okay, last question. How is the coronavirus disease COVID-19 transmitted? Answer, this is already common knowledge for us. Time is up, and the correct answer is the yellow one, both. So who's the winner? Ta-da! Can we back to podium? Oh, Jane?
I'm on the
Jane
second
is
place.
the winner.
Oh, I'm on the second place and I don't remember.
Okay, we will find out and we will contact the winner. And the committee will inform the prizes for the winner. Okay, thank you so much for all of you for joining the game. It's been fun, thank you, and I hope that the games can add knowledge about COVID-19 pandemic, especially about COVID-19 for us, for all of us. Thank you very much. Okay, I believe that Nadhira already joined us. We can start the International Students Talk, Session 1 with Nadhira. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, participants. Good afternoon, participants and speakers. So, welcome back to the International Students Talk Series 1, International Students Response on the COVID-19 pandemic. And this session will be guided by a moderator. We already have our guest speaker today, but our moderator who's going to be the one who's introduced our guest star. So let me introduce you, our moderator for today. His name is Ayub Ilfandi Imran. Pak Ayub Ilfandi Imran is a philosophical doctorate PhD holder in the field of organizational communication at the International Islamic University of Malaysia, or IIUM. Pak Ayub has attained both of his bachelor and master degrees at the same field of study and the same university. For his master degree, Pak Ayub wrote a thesis entitled Impact of Organizational Technological Change on Communication Climate. As for his doctorate degree, Pak Ayub wrote a dissertation entitled Individual Innovativeness as a Mediating Factor Between Selected Communication Factors and Career Advancement, and his PhD was completed on 2016. As of now, Pak Ayub is currently teaching at Telkom University since the early of 2015. So far, he has taught 9 different courses in the last 5 academic years. Along the way, Pak Ayub, or Dr. Ayub, is actively doing numerous research in the field of communication science at the national scale, as well as several international research collaborations. Pak Ayub is currently a head department of digital public relations at the Faculty of Communication and Business. So everybody, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Ayub.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Leah. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And good afternoon, everybody, participants and respected speakers, which have spent their time to actually meet with us today for our great event, which I believe will inspire us, especially the students who are currently ongoing your study period. And I'm very sure that we can learn a lot from Nadhira and also the invited speakers that we have. Now, we have a special guest for today. Other than Nadhira, we also have 3 international students who have been very kindly to join us. And of course, before we start with our first session, in which we are going to have a very casual discussion with Nadhira, please allow me to go through her CV so that I can get you to know her better. Dr. Nadhira Nuraini Afifa, MD MPH, completed her master's in May 2020 from Harvard Chan School of Public Health, United States, through which she was a commencement speaker for class of 2020, contributing writer for Voices in Leadership, recipient of Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, where she was awarded a full scholarship for her master's from Indonesian Ministry of Health. Before that, she completed her bachelor degree at University of Indonesia, majoring in medical science, Doctor of Medicine, graduated in 2017. I would like to share with you some of her achievement, and believe me, she has a lot of achievement, but I'm going to share you the main one, which I think is going to inspire you as a student. She received an award of MIT Innovation in Global Health System Hackathon, Boston, United States, a grand prize winner in November 2019, where she pitched an idea about We Care, an AI-based smartphone application to tackle high malnutrition cases among Indonesian children in the age of under 5 years old. This event was held by MIT and Harvard Chan School of Public Health, an event that was open for the public, which include 100 participants consisting of students and professionals across the country. Those are just a brief introduction from an amazing list of achievements that Nadhira has achieved. And of course, now we'll get the chance to know her better. Now, without further ado, let us welcome Nadhira Nuraini Afifa. Could you please join us, Nadhira? Dr.
Hi.
Nadhira.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Pa Ayub, for the great introduction. And thank you for Telkom University and Universitas Islam Indonesia for having me today. It was a great pleasure. It is a great pleasure to share my experience to all these inspiring students and great students here. So this would be a very casual presentation, like you said before. So I'm going to present about my experience, especially during the distance learning, because I was also affected by the distance learning during the last 2 and 3 months of my study at Harvard, and about the virtual graduation as well. So I will share my screen then. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Okay. Yes, we can see it.
Yes, you can.
All right, thank you. So this would be my experience about learning during pandemic. So in case many of you may not know me, before this, I started my study in Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia in 2011 and graduated in 2017. A very long journey of learning medicine. And 1 year later, after practicing in Lombok for a year, I pursued a master degree using LPDP. It is actually a scholarship by Ministry of Finance. So I may have some mistakes in my CV. I say that LPDP is from Ministry of Health. And after that, I pursued Master of Public Health in Global Health at Harvard Chan. It's only a 9 months program, actually, because I already obtained my MD. So when we go into Harvard and we already obtain an MD, it was actually similar to doctoral degree. So they can give us the accelerated program, which is only 9 months for a master's degree. So by the numbers, this is just some fun facts. So it is very, there's a lot of diversity in my class. We have 32 students in my class, but in total for all the Master of Public Health, we have 600 students and other students from other degrees too, in my Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And we have 600 students from US and 400 students from international students. So they want to make sure the diversification inside the program. And as you can see, so usually there's only one representative from a country, from Indonesia, there's me, and one from Pakistan, one from Mexico, one from Canada, and 4 from US, one from Japan, and so on. So it's very rich in the culture, and I also can learn so many good perspectives from different point of views from people there. It was a very great experience. So this is actually the life before pandemic in Harvard. So we have this student-centered learning. I'm not sure whether this has been applied in Telkom University as well, but this has been applied some schools in Indonesia. Uh, because of the policy from Pak Nadiem Makarim. So student-centered learning actually demand a very great participation from the students instead of the teachers. So from what I know, when I was in the undergraduate, it's just every day is just I came to the schools, I sat in the class and then just listen from the teachers explaining everything. And basically we can just uh, don't give our opinion for hours. It's just the teachers doing all the work. So it's not very encouraging in my point of view, and it's not very enriching in terms of the knowledge that I got in undergraduate studies. So when I have a chance to have the student-centered learning in Harvard, it was a very great experience, and I learned a lot. So basically, the class is just about the discussions between the colleagues, just us having a very positive debate among each other, and we obviously have prepared some knowledge before coming to the class. So there are a lot of regular mandatory presentations. There are a lot group projects and discussions that demand the collaborations between us and other students, and also the discussion based classes. So actually there's some heavy portion on students participation, and also 15% of the scores is from our participation inside the class. And also there's so many outside class activities before the pandemic. What I highlight is there are a lot of cultural festival, and there are a lot of networking sessions, some hackathons, some conferences, and just seminars or talk shows that encourage us to have many networks. So not just thinking about the scores during the class, but also we have to enrich the networks outside the class, because that is actually the most important ones when we want to search for the jobs and looking for greater opportunities other than just having the great scores in the class. So that was the life before pandemic. So actually it lasts for 7 months, I think, 7 months of my 9 month study. So the last 2 months of my study, this is actually when I had my birthday in Boston. But at this time, the pandemic already hit the US, and Harvard decided very surprising, a very shocking decisions, which is to move all the classes online due to the pandemic. And they also encourage all the international students to pack our things and go back to our respective countries without any intention to go back, because they're afraid there would be any lockdown in Boston and US as a country. So I went back 1 week later after my birthday. And I had to say that it was very challenging to have the distance learning, because I think especially because we lose the engagement between us and the teachers and between us and the colleagues like we used to. So it was very challenging to have all the things virtual, like we don't really connect with each other. And especially because of the time difference between Boston and Indonesia, it's 11 or 12 hours difference. And very challenging also to conduct some group work, because all the students are coming from the different countries as well. So there are so many time differences between us. So it was hard at first, but then Harvard still applies this kind of active learning, the student-centered based learning. So the teaching methods still require us to have a great portion of participation inside the class, although the class is conducted online. So of course, we are encouraged to open the cam, so making sure that we put our total attention to the class. And also we are encouraged to still give some opinions and also some questions and everything, to make sure that we understand the classes and also what teachers are explaining. So still the score proportion is still the participation from the student is valued as 15% of the scores, which is a very high portion. So the toughest one is that I have to present my, this is not a thesis because I only have 9 months of a master study. So I don't have to do the thesis, but it's basically a final project. So the toughest one is that I actually had to present my final project. Usually that would be a very big conference thing, the very great event that we are looking forward to have. But sadly, all of the students are going back to their respective countries, and we cannot do this presentation like we used to. So to still have some connection and to still have some interactions between the students, we are encouraged to still make the posters and then record our presentation. So basically, we can present in our home and everywhere, and we record it, and then we are encouraged to only have one take for that presentation. So just like if the presentation is conducted like usual. And then there's this thing called peer-to-peer feedback. So basically, there are 3 students that is assigned to give the feedback to me like that, and I was also assigned to give the feedbacks to other students. So so it is to make sure that our presentations still have any feedbacks from others, and at least we got 3 feedbacks from others. And it was although the experience is very much different from if we do in-person presentation, but it's still a very good presentation. I still have to train my public speaking skills, still have the anxiety, the nervous, the excitement, and also I still have a very constructive feedbacks from each other. So that was a good experience and can be applied in other schools as well if you're interested. By the way, my final project is in Tanzania, so it's basically like a fully funded project from Harvard. I spent around a month in Dodoma, Tanzania, capital city of Tanzania. So we conducted research about the adolescent malnutrition among in-school students in Tanzania. What is actually the causes of their malnutritions, and we came up with some solutions and advice to the Ministry of Health in Tanzania. It was a very great experience. My first time in Africa, and a month in Africa is very fabulous. So this one is the virtual commencement. So this is actually the first time Harvard and many other universities conducted virtual commencement. At first we thought it was a joke, but turns out it is really a thing. So we conducted a virtual commencement. But the method of the contest of the student speaker is not changed. So basically, if we are in universities in Indonesia, usually the one that having the honor to have the commencement speaker is the one that has the highest GPA or maybe like highest achievement and etc. But in Harvard, they have the student speaker contest, where basically all of the graduating Harvard student can apply for to be the commencement student speaker. So we just have to submit our speech, and then there are some steps, there are some stages of contest that after submitting my speech from the good afternoon until thank you, it's around 750 words. After that, I also had to present my speech in front of the judges, and some trainings for the public speaking skills, and also some curation of my speech to make sure that it would not offend anyone and it would be a great speech for everyone. So it was a very long process until finally I was chosen to be the commencement student speaker this year. So these are just some footage of what I did during the contest. So basically submit the electrical copy of the speech. This one is the CEO of of a communication company in Boston. So she gave me the training of the public speaking, like how to give the proper expressions, how to highlight the words, the important words and everything. Because it's a Harvard graduation, so it's a very complicated process in order to make sure that the speech are impeccable. So it's basically not offending any race or religion and everything. So it's 152 students applying, and I get very lucky to finally been able to be accepted. And yeah, this is the best day of my life when I got the announcement and I got accepted. And yeah, this one, so this has been my inspiration as well to not just study abroad, but I want to make something that is remarkable, not only for me but for Indonesia, because we are the minority in every top schools in the world. Actually, like in Harvard, it's only 16 students from Indonesia, so basically one students in every school, like one in public health school, one in law school, one in education school, and everything. So many people overlooked us. So it's a very great opportunity for me to finally introduce Indonesia, to finally also represent Muslim for me. So the expectation, actually, it would be a very great experience if I can present to the speech in the podium, like watched by all of the teachers, the dean, and also my parents. But this is the reality, so I just presented it in my apartment using this very low quality devices. So I think this is almost the end of my presentation. So there's some technical tips for me. I think it's a very generic tips for productivity amidst pandemic. So the first one is that to make sure that you always dress up like you, as if you want to go to school in person, as if you want to go to the office in person. So get up early, dress up with the office attire or something, and then make sure that you always update your to-do list. So I always have this daily to-do list, like what do I have to do this day and what time I have to do that one and everything. So it makes me structured, and at least it guides me to know what I have to do on that day. And it was very satisfying if I can fulfill all of the to-do list. And the third one is that to make sure that you always work on the table, not on the bed, because usually when you work on the bed, then it prevents you from being productive. It encourages you to sleep instead. And this is the last things, I think, the message that I want people to know as well. So many Indonesian youths usually have the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is actually the one that always think that our intellectual capability is stagnant. We cannot improve our intellectual capability. That either we are good at it or we're not good at it, or if we don't know, then we don't have to learn anymore, and we can only be an expert in one thing. That's the fixed mindset. But we always have to change our mindset into the growth mindset. So the growth mindset actually, the belief that we can always improve our intellectual capability, of course, with some efforts, and that if we fail, then we should get up and also fix our mistakes and go for it until we succeed. And then if we receive any critics, then it's only for our improvement. So don't take it personally. So the ones with the growth mindset, I think the one that would be a successful student in the future. So thank you. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nadhira. Do you mind if I call you Nadhira, by the way?
Yeah, sure. Just be casual.
Okay, so thank you for that. Very inspiring. I'm very sure that our audience are like 187 of them would like to directly chat with you. But then before I take you to discuss with them, to have a Q&A session with them, I would like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, sure.
Just casually, just like a brief take that I received from your presentation just now. The first response that I want to give is that you're asking about the student-centered learning, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we do have that, or at least we are trying very hard to have it here. You know, it's not easy, isn't it? Because like, as you mentioned just now, student-centered learning is about having the students, do the work, while we, the lecturers, try to motivate them, try to direct them. And we try to have that, but it takes time, because it just being being called upon by our Ministry of Education, so that we're trying that at our university level. Now, you have a lot of interesting stories, obviously, before I heard your presentation, I have to do some browsing on you. My wife helped me with that, and then she told me a lot of a very inspiring about the difficulties they've been facing while you are studying there.
Mhm.
Could you please, from the psychological aspect of it, how
Mhm.
do you deal with it? How do you calm yourself? How do you avoid of being panic with the whole situation? Because like we are talking about living abroad all the way
Mhm.
to across the sea to the US, we talk about finance, isn't it?
Yes.
We talk
Mhm.
about security, we talk about the psychological minds and everything. Could you please share with us and obviously my students, how do you deal with all of this?
Thank you, Pa. That's a very interesting questions. Yeah, so I always share about the happiness, the excitement that I have when I was in Harvard. But actually, there are so many difficulties as well, especially during the first stage. I think during the first month of being there, I was just married, so it was very challenging for me to have a long distance relationship with my husband during that time. And also, when we go into other countries, especially United States, I heard a lot of the Islamophobia and some racist things and everything. And I have to go there using a hijab as well. So I expose my identity. I don't have to tell everyone what my religion is. That is also the challenging part, I think, and makes me afraid to do anywhere. And then I think I also I also told it in my speech that I actually have a very anxiety when I have to do the coffee break with other students, other international students. I prefer to go to the bathroom and then having my lunch in the bathroom because it's just very nerve wracking to have some small chit chats with others. I don't really used to it. So it was very challenging at first, but then I learned that actually to be like this, to have the culture shock and also to have the difficulties in adapting to the new society is very normal. I just have to limit the time, like how many days or how many weeks do I have to do things like this? Do I have to be anxious and everything? Because then I only have 9 months of studying. So if I spend like 2 months or 3 months of adapting, it would be very time wasting. So that
Mhm.
I decided to just have 2 weeks to be anxious like this, and then I tried to break the barrier by finally having the courage to talk in the class, because so many people are talking, and actually it's a very normal thing to have opinions in front of the classes. So I finally decided to have the courage to also give my opinions, and after that I started being more confident to have to express my opinions and everything. And I also learned that this culture shock would be very much mitigated if I have some people that are in common around me. So I try to find the Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia actually in Boston.
Yeah, the
So
PPI, isn't it?
PPI, yeah. So of course in every area they have the PPI. Although in Boston it's only 30 students, I think, from
I
MIT and
see.
Harvard. So after I met them and finally can talk in Bahasa and can have
Mhm.
some people that are in common, it was very comfortable. And finally, I got like a second home there, and it's very, very like changing everything actually. So that helps me a lot in terms of adapting, like looking for the houses, and if I have some financial difficulties, they also can help me, and we can help each other like Indonesians. And then after that, I try to be more like I try to mingle more. I have, when we're in Boston, we don't like it's supposed we're not supposed to just hang out with the Indonesians. Like we have to hang out with the Bostonians and other international students as well.
Mhm.
So I try to find some people that are still in common, but it's more international students. So actually, I try to find a Muslim community inside Harvard. So there are many. Turns out there are many Americans and also like Europeans, like UK citizens and everything that are Muslims. And so then I can start to mingle more with the international students, but still Muslims. And then yeah, after that it's just some higher and higher steps until I can be more confident to mingle with others. So that's the thing, I think, to adapt, the first thing to adapt. And for the financial, I already prepared for that, so I know that actually the scholarship from LPDP is like, it's not enough. I know
I
that from the
see.
stories from people. So we are
Mhm.
given around $2,000 per month,
I
but
see.
just for my houses, it's the rent is around 1,300 dollars. So
Mhm.
only 700 for living costs, for the food and everything, and it's not enough. So I already prepared some savings, and I have to spend some savings, some of my personal savings as well. Yeah, that's just the risk that I have to take if I want to go to Harvard. And yeah, after that, I just have to adapt to the lectures and everything. It's just it's not special. It's just I have to learn more, and I have to deal with the imposter syndrome as well, because like my colleagues is like a minister from Pakistan, and then some people
Wow.
that, yeah, some people that used to work in WHO, some older
Mm.
students and everything. Yeah, and finally I can adapt with that, because they also have some insecurities from being so old than others, and also have some insecurities from being so young than others. So we
Mhm.
all have these insecurities, we just have to deal with it.
Okay, that's amazing. So basically, I take to the point that you basically try to find similarities in diversity that are facing there in Boston, isn't it? You
Yes.
mentioned about the, what do you call it, the varieties of friends with
Yep.
different backgrounds, different nationalities, different languages, I
Yeah.
assume, isn't
Correct.
it? So,
Yeah.
and through all that, you try to, what do you call it, enhance your public speakings, even though
Yes.
you start, in the bathroom by yourself,
Yeah.
which I think it takes a lot of courage, isn't it? Especially you go all the way to the US and assuming that even the foreign people they're speaking a very high standard of English, isn't it? And you
Yes.
just have to, to hold a grip and then meet them. And even though with the broken language that we have, you just need to face them, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I hope this is inspired all of our audience. I'm sure that some of you, if not already, maybe soon in the future, you're gonna have some chances to go out of Indonesia to meet some people, to go through all these language barriers. So you had it yourself from a very good example from Dr. Nadira. And yeah, take a good point of it, right? You just need to be brave, isn't it?
Yes,
Right?
but
Okay. I have to ask you about dealing with the COVID-19 before I
mhm.
take you to discuss with the audience. Um, Uh, did you hit by the lockdown there?
No, luckily
Not
I
really a full
don't.
lockdown, isn't it?
There's some few lockdowns, yeah, like the
Mm-hmm.
school are closing and like the restaurants are closing, but not a very a very close lockdown.
Okay. Now the question is, with the, oh, maybe partial lockdown that was
Yeah.
happening in the Boston there, how does it affect? How much does it affect your daily activities, your
Hmm.
studies, and how do you actually cope with it? Because, like, being, were you alone there?
Yeah, yeah,
Do
with
you have
some.
relatives?
No, I don't have it.
So it must be hard, isn't it? Because like you must be cautious to meet some foreign people, even your friends, in the
Hmm.
case of COVID. And then now your communication is limited in terms of face to face. And
Hmm.
then could you please share with us how you deal with all that, where all your activities being transformed into the virtual one without having to meet your lecturers, having to deal with your classmates, through your laptop screen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, please share with us, how does it affect you, because like I assume you as a very socially aware person, I think you love interaction with other people, isn't it? Now you only can stare them through the laptop, so please tell us how you deal with all that.
Okay, so Boston is actually a very intellectual. There are a lot of intellectual people in Boston, and like
Mhm.
I can say that Boston during that time are doing a very great job in doing the partial lockdown compared to
Mhm.
like New York and many other states. There are more like disobey all the rules.
I see.
So they closed the universities, the schools, and the restaurants earlier than other states, like Massachusetts, actually, not Boston. They closed that earlier, and then it's just some shopping malls that are opened, so that we can still shop and everything. So luckily, I got the housemate, and my housemate it is actually my high school friend from
I
Indonesia.
see. From Indonesia.
She got into MIT, and I got into Harvard,
Mhm.
and then we ran a house together. So it was very challenging because I think what makes it special in living in US is that you can interact with others, like especially with foreign people, and then you can do all these networking sessions, especially when you are in the master's degree. You don't want to like pursue a higher GPA or something like that. We just want to look for all of the opportunities like the conferences like, and networking sessions with like high person people.
Mhm.
Usually, like Harvard conducted some talk shows with presidents and talk show with ministers, governors, and everything. And then we cannot do all of that. And when all of the classes goes online, I think it's like I cannot see any special things from Harvard then. If you just have to do the things online, just the online classes, it's just
Mhm.
what's the difference between Harvard and other universities? Like it's just
Yeah.
the online schools and everything. So that was the most difficult part for me, I think, because I just have to stay at home. Like, what's the difference of me being here than being in Indonesia?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
like no special thing from Harvard as well.
Mhm.
And it was very shocking as well because Harvard is the first university in Boston that decided to have the all classes online, after
Oh,
that
I
followed
see.
by MIT. So usually Harvard and
Mhm.
MIT have the very same decision.
Mhm.
So I still saw some people in like Boston University and Tufts. They still went to school, and I really envy them. So that I dealt with it is just I think it's only like 2 weeks after the decision of partial lockdown that I finally
Mhm.
decided to go home, because they always encourage us to go home, and then
I
there's
see.
some news that the Boston airport will be locked down and we cannot book any flights after that. So it's just I was very scared at that time, and then after consulted with my families and other students in my classes as well, they are all going home. So I decided to go home. That's how I deal with that decisions, and then I just have to like talk a lot. I think because actually a very social person, like a very extrovert person.
Yeah, I
So
can see that.
yeah, so I cannot be like this just in
Mhm.
Boston, but just stay at home when actually it's spring. And that time it is very beautiful everywhere. So yeah, after consulted with some people, so I decided to go home.
All
And yeah,
right.
it's a very good decision.
Okay. Thank you, Nadira. Now, the audience going to kill me if I keep giving the questions by ignoring their questions. So we are going to see some of the questions that have been write down in our chat. So the first one, obviously
Sorry,
Harvard is
can
definitely
they, can
one of
they
the very, sorry?
can they deliver the question themselves?
Yes, I have the questions. I will read them to you.
Okay.
Now, obviously Harvard is one of the very best university in the world.
Mhm.
And our audience from France, his name is France, would like to know, how does it differ between the Indonesian learning system and
Mhm.
the one that you have been experiencing in Harvard?
Okay. Okay, that's a very good question. I think the first one is that student-centered learning that I have explained earlier. But if
Mhm,
Telkom University has already applied that, then there's no difference.
mhm.
And the second one is that I know we cannot compare Indonesia and United States apple to
Yes,
apple, because yeah, we're developing countries and
yeah,
not and
it's not
they
fair, isn't it?
developed countries. It's not fair. But yeah, the privilege is that they have a very huge amount of funding for their education institutes. So basically, I can apply to like a very prestigious conference in other part of the world, and like an internship in Africa as well, without having to worry about the money. I think that's the thing that really encouraged the students to compete in international and global stage, and having no limitations in money is really motivating them to keep going higher and higher. And so if Indonesia can also like maybe maybe big names and investors can invest more in education institutes so that we can have much funding to do research and conference and international stage, that will be very good for our students improvement. And then I think the third one is that I don't know how they do it, but the learning center and the library is always the most comfortable place to hang out for students. Like in Indonesia, maybe we prefer to go to cafe or restaurants or like a coffee shop to study, but it's not very effective and it's
Yeah.
not very convenient circumstances to learn actually. But in Harvard, they have this learning center equipped with all of the unlimited internet services and also some mini shops inside. So it was very convenient for students to study every day, and it opens for 24 hours. So maybe Indonesia can also apply that. I
All
think
right.
that. Uh,
All right. So basically a place to hang out without too much distraction from your study, isn't it?
yes, and not chit chat with this chat.
Okay, the next one, I think, they are dying to directly speaking to you and asking their questions directly to you. So I would like to call upon Fiona, Rizky, and Nanda. You could ask Nadira yourself. Fiona, are you with us? You have a very interesting question, so you could just ask Nadira by yourself.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Fiona.
Can you
Nadira is
open?
with us. You could ask her. Go on.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for the time. Yeah, I have something that I always curious. Maybe Dr. Nadira have any tip for why we should have a positive mind, especially in this pandemic situation, because
Hello, Fiona. Okay, I think we have some technical difficulties, but I have her questions in the chat box, so I'll just read it through to you. So Fiona is basically asking, do you have any tips for we should have a positive mind, especially in the pandemic situation? So how do you keep yourself, avoid from insanity through these difficulties? So you could, just tell them how to keep in positive minded.
Okay, thank you, Fiona. That's a great question. So yeah, actually, this pandemic is like a very unprecedented situation. We obviously have never experienced things like this before. So it was challenging at first, but I think there's some also blessing in disguise during the pandemic, because now we have a lot of virtual talks, a lot of virtual seminars that we can connect with like a very high personal figure. We can also connect with the international figure as well. So I always try to update my knowledge and also try to update my skills through this kind of talk and everything. Learn from others from the talk, because I obviously have more time right now because I didn't spend it on the road like I used to. And then I think I always try to keep myself structured and guided by updating my to-do list, like what I said before. I always update my goals, like what kind of goals that I have this year, and then break it down into some to-do list. What are my weekly to-do list, and like the daily to-do list, what I have to do, and also equip that with the time table, like what time do I have to do this essay, or maybe like write this opinion and everything. So you can try that as well. You can also you can have this daily to-do list to make you structured and always to motivate you to do many things, although you're just staying at home. And I think after that, I spend a lot of time in social media right now because of this pandemic. That's not a good thing, but I just cannot keep myself, like preventing myself from watching my phones and everything. So social media has become my new world as well during this pandemic. So I have to make sure that I followed people that is not toxic for me, that is not making more troubles for me during this pandemic. So I followed people that can become my role model, like maybe Bu Sri Mulyani, or maybe some public figures that is very inspiring, so that I can always be motivated to do things so that I can be like her, or I can be like him. So I think that's the tips from me. Like so basically to do some to follow some virtual talks and everything, to update your to-do list, and also to make sure that your social media is not toxic for you.
Okay, next one. Can we have Ratu Fitria? Maybe you would like to ask Nadhira yourself. Ratu?
Hi. Oh
Hi,
my God.
Ratu.
Hi, Ratu.
Hello.
Go on. Nadhira
Yes,
is
I'm
here.
here. Okay. Dr. Nadira, I'm so happy to see
Thank
you
you.
here. Okay. I want to ask you about, maybe we need some advice from you on how to remind someone who has a lot of dreams, because as we feel as a students, this is so hard for us. So in this situation, it's really make us worry, especially about our future. So um, we need some advice to how on keep in our dreams.
To how what, can you repeat it again?
Maybe like I'm a dreamer, so I have many dreams, but in this pandemic, yeah, like I don't have uh, something. Um, Maybe you can give us advice about how to keep
Okay.
like
Can I
how
help?
to remain someone who has a lot of dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, maintaining her dreams and keep believing that she gonna
Yeah.
catch her dreams sooner or later. So without leaving it dying from her list of
Okay.
dreams.
Thank you.
No
Okay. Thank you,
problem.
Ratu. So yeah, so it's actually, maybe I have to say this, that I think the first one is that you don't have to be intimidated by people that are that seems very productive and like very like have so many achievements during the even during this pandemic, because like simply surviving in this pandemic, it's also an achievement for us. Like not so many people have the financial stability or like the sanity to keep survive during this pandemic. So it's just make sure that you don't push yourself too hard, but you still have to keep those dreams alive. So for me, I always have different dreams and different milestones. So maybe when I was in junior high school, then my dream would be to get into the top school in senior high school, and then when I got into Universitas Indonesia, then my dream would be to go into Harvard and everything. So the dreams are updated alongside with you improve yourself as well. So make sure to keep your dreams updated and to keep those dreams alive. When you name it a dream, that sounds very distant actually. I always dream to go to United States, for example, but that seems very distant because it's not something that is real. So you have to make sure that you turn those dreams into goals. So I always say that make like you can have this dream and then break it down into some mini goals. Like maybe for example, like I want to go to the United States, and then my goal is to get into Harvard or Columbia University. And after that, from the goals, I break it down again into to-do list. Then I have to search for the scholarship. Then I have to search for. Then I have to make a great CV and everything, so that it ensures that you have this clear track, this clear path of what you have to do to achieve those dreams, and that also making sure that you can also have uh, that you're guided like to achieve those dreams at the end. And to make sure those dreams alive in this pandemic, I think it's pretty hard, but I think you just have to believe that this condition is actually temporary. So don't push too hard yourself. Do everything that you can still do during this pandemic, but then after that, make sure that you can do harder and harder after this pandemic ends. But don't waste the time during this pandemic. Still do the things that you can do in your at capacity, but then you can do harder after this pandemic ends.
Okay, I hope that answer Fitria. The next question is Nur Fatin, but actually she's asking how do you manage your time and to do some productive activities. I'm pretty sure that you have answered some of it.
Yeah.
And therefore, I would like to skip to Edo Zaki.
Okay.
Edo, are you with us? Edo? Edo Zaki Muhammad Al-Fatih.
I think it's not here.
It's not here. Okay, if that's so, I'll skip to the next one. Exercise. So I was asking you about the psychological aspect, isn't it? And I think Rahma, Fatwa, Nova was going to ask you about the physical aspect of it. So Rahma, are you with us? Would you like to ask the question yourself to Nadhira? Rahma,
Yes.
Fatwa? Yes, go on.
Okay. Hello. It's a great honor to speak to you.
Thank you,
Hey.
Rahma.
So the question is, how do we stay healthy in this pandemic, especially when the gym and the parks are closed in quarantine? Yeah, that's my question.
Okay. Right, I got it. Thank you, Rahma. So this is actually a health-related question, finally.
Yeah.
So the exercises. Actually, World Health Organization requires us to have 150 minutes exercise every week. So it's basically like 50 minutes a day during the weekdays. That's the guide for the good exercise for you. And what exercises can we do during this pandemic? I think make sure that you do some exercises that you can do at home. So basically, you can do like Zumba for 30 minutes, or maybe like the cardio thing, like treadmill, or you can do some yoga for strengthening the muscles and everything. I don't really encourage you to do some outdoors exercise, although maybe you're doing it on your own. Like right now, the hype is to do the biking, and then maybe like jogging in the park. If your intention is pure to do the exercises, it is actually okay. So you can always do the biking and jogging. But if you spend most of your time like hanging out in the coffee shops with other bikers and then like taking the photos with the mask off and everything, I think that's not the essence of doing the outdoors activities. So if you cannot prevent yourself from doing that, I think I encourage you to always do the indoors activities instead. So you can do the Zumba, you can do the yoga, you can do the some cardio thing inside home if you have the treadmill, or you can just stretch yourself a bit. So that's what I advise actually.
Okay, thank you, Nadira. Rama, I hope that's clear. I have the next questions, some of the questions actually, but some of them are quite similar. I'm just going to pick one. Let us go with Jody Satria. Jody Satria Wicaksono.
Yes,
Could you
I'm
join
here.
us?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
go
here.
on, Jody.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for this great presentation, Dr. Nadira. I really am such a fan of you in the YouTube.
Thank you.
And so I have two questions actually. For the first question is, do you have any special tips for applying to the Harvard or any universities in the US? And the second one is, did you have any alternative besides Harvard when you start applying? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jody. Yeah, so this is the application related question. So special tips for applying to Harvard. I think so. I actually applied twice. I applied 2 years, 2 years back. I think in 2016 I applied to Harvard, and then I didn't get accepted. And then 2 years later I applied again and finally accepted. The difference is just the duration of the preparation that I spent. So the first one, I only spent 3 months to prepare for all of the documents and for all of the requirements. And turns out it's not enough because my applications are not so good and there are so many mistakes that I made during during that time. So the second one, I prepared for a year. So the deadline is December 1st for the application to be submitted. And I prepared from the December the year back. So it's a full 1 year to prepare the Harvard documents. So usually it's not very difficult to write the CV or to write the personal statements or to get a TOEFL test and everything. But to make sure that you have enough experiences and enough achievements to be written on the CV, that was the difficult part. So basically, if you want to apply to Harvard or other top schools like Stanford or maybe like Oxford and everything, you have to make sure that you spend a lot of time, maybe like during this undergraduate study, to search for many experiences, like the organizational experiences or the committees, or maybe like spend some time to write or publish some research and everything, so that when you wanted to apply to Harvard later, you have enough experiences to be put in the CV, because that's the difficult part. And also, I have to say that the personal statement is the most important part of the application. So that is the only place that you can actually express everything. You can tell about your parents' story. You can tell about the background of everything that you're doing right now, because they don't have any format for that. So that was a very challenging one. And I had to say that Harvard likes people that writes the personal statement in a bit dramatic way. So I started my sentence, which the first sentence of the personal statement is usually called the hook. So the hook is like my hook is, the look in her eyes was disheartening. So that was my first sentence of the personal statement. So it's not something that is formal, like my name is Nadhira, I was graduated from University of Indonesia. It's not like that. So you have to think a lot about the personal statement. And then, yeah, I think then also prepare for the scholarship as well, because the process for the LPDP scholarship is very long. It usually requires 6 to 8 months to get a scholarship. And I do have some alternative besides Harvard. I actually only applied to Columbia and Harvard at the first time in 2016, and I got into Columbia. But then when I think about it again, actually my dream is to get into Harvard. So I applied again 2 years later, but I only applied to Harvard that time. So yeah, like that.
Okay, Jody, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. And please take a note of it. Okay, you need that.
Okay, thank
You really need
you.
that tips.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Okay, you're welcome, Jody. Okay, the next one. Okay, the reason I want to highlight Edo question just now, because his questions is going to help me to inspire or motivate my students, even though maybe Edo is not with us today, but I'm still going to ask you his questions. He was asking like, in his words, how can you avoid being lazy studying at home during this online learning, period? So could you please help me motivating these students to actually still get excited, motivated, and full of spirits, in following all of our online courses, Nadia?
Okay, Pak. Thank you, Pak Ayu. Thank you, Edo. So I think that's the part of the technical tips that I already presented in my presentation, that you have to always get up early and dress up, and also do all the things on the table instead of on the bed, because it prevents you from being productive usually. And I think the huge part in making the students not lazy during the online studying is on you, Pak Ayub, on the teachers. So I think you have to require the students to always be on cam. I don't know, maybe some of you will hate me after this, but when you're on cam, at least you are forced to always put attention to the teachers, and like the teacher can also monitor the students that are not listening and everything. And then I think when I was in Harvard, they always gave me the pre-work. It's like the pre-material before the classes. You
Mhm.
give some simple articles or like things that can trigger the students to be active more during the classes. So maybe the teachers can also give some articles for the students to read.
Okay.
I think this is not the answers that Edo wants to hear, but
Oh
yeah.
no, that one the easiest one.
Yeah, but yeah, that's really helpful in making me like very interested in the lessons that that are given, and also especially during this pandemic, because I didn't really feel connected with the teachers, so that if I were very lazy during the class, then I actually got nothing, got no lessons for the class, and it was very like time wasting. So yeah, you can require the students like now to be on cam, always on cam, and also to give some pre-work or some simple articles for them to read before the classes.
All right, sure thing. And I'm going to quote you on that. Next class I'm gonna say that, do you guys know Nadhira, right? And she told me that everybody must turn on their camera from now on. And we have to protest that. You can tell Nadhira about that.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So do we still have questions? Let me see. Oh, I think it's 15:57. So it's almost 3 o'clock. I think that's all the time that we have. Nadhira, I thank you so much. You being inspirational. I'm sure that you can inspire all of these young generations of Indonesia. If you could make it, I'm pretty sure that 184 audiences that are here with us can follow your steps. I'm sure that everything that you shared with us, the insight that you have given us, I'm sure that they'll take note on that. They will try to redo what you have done, and we all pray for their success.
Thank you so much, Pa Ayub. Thank you, Telkom University. It's been a very great pleasure, and I hope it's insightful for all of us. Best of
All
luck.
right.
Love you.
All right, Nadhira, before you leave us, we are going to take a photo class.
Okay.
Like a Zoom photo, if you don't mind. Can the MC help me, please, Mrs. Leah?
Yes, of course, Pa Ayub and Dr. Nadhira, thank you so much for the presentation. Okay, everybody, can you please turn on the camera because we will take a group photo with Nadhira, our guest star for today. Okay, operator ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, next slide, one more time, Nadhira, if you don't mind. One more slide. Okay. 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much one more time, Nadhira and Pak Ayub. Thank you. It's really nice to have you here, and good luck. And participants, please stay in this meeting room because we have 3 more speakers, international students from some countries that will share their experience during the COVID-19 pandemic with Pak Ayub. Okay, Pak Ayub, Dr. Ayub, since we finished the talk with Nadhira, seems like we can move on to the next talk with 3 international students. Can we start the talk, Pak?
Sure, why not? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Leah. Dear audience, now we are entering the session 2, in which we are going to have a chance, a sharing session with 3 of chosen international students that we have invited today. The first one, we are going to have Mr. Jamaluddin from Bangladesh. And then we also have in the presence of Tran Titan Tuong or Jen today, and also Bawia are with us. Please, before I call upon them, allow me to read briefly the CV that I have with me. The first one, we have in the presence of Mr. MD Jamaluddin, Assistant Professor for Department of Soil and Environment Sciences, University of Barisal. And he is currently a PhD candidate from Bangladesh. Okay. The next one, we also have Bawia with us. a student volunteer International Academic Office, Telkom University. She is one of our dear international students who are currently enrolled in Telkom University. Hello, Bawia. And then we also have Trantien Trong, or commonly known as Jen, who is currently majoring in hospitality and tourism management. She's a third-year student. Could you all of us say hi to our audience?
Hello.
Hi, Jamal.
Hello.
Is Bawia with us?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Bawia. Where is
Hi.
Jen?
Hello.
Hi, Jen. Okay. So first of all, I would like to welcome you to session 2. I'm very happy to meet all of you. And I have to say one thing. I have a 2 years experience teaching in Malaysia. And I used to have students, a varieties of students, and I have many students from Bangladesh and India. And also I have a lot of friends in Vietnam because I studied my master's and PhD in International Islamic University in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we have so many students from Asia. So which is why I'm very happy to meet Jamal today, to meet
Thank you.
Bavia, and to meet Jen, because they are basically universities and nationalities that I normally see in my campus. So I also learned a couple of your language, even though, you know, I'm gonna embarrass myself if I share with you what I've learned. But I've learned some Indian language, Bangladeshi, and also some Vietnamese, even though it's, you know, just between friends, and I don't think I should share it here. Okay, so thank you to three of you. Now, we are going to have what we call a roundtable discussion. In fact, it's just like interactive, a very casual discussion between us. So everybody, you are giving the chance to share what you have learned, what you have faced, including, you know, just like what Nadhira just shared with us about learning in this difficult time, in the pandemic time. You could share with us your experiences, difficulties, and how do you cope with it. How can, and then as a lecturer, I'm begging you to share some tips to all of my students here. Please help me to motivate them. I'm sure that if this lecturer who is speaking to the students, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say that, oh, of course you are the lecturer, it's easy for you to say. But now the fact that we have the students here, the international students here, I'm sure they're going to listen to you. So please help me motivate them and, you know, inspire them. I'm sure that you are facing the same difficulties that we are facing right now, especially for the students. And I'm sure that, you know, they learn a thing or two about, you know, dealing with this difficult time. Okay, the first questions, Jamal.
Yes.
Could you please tell me where are you right now at this moment?
At this moment now, I'm in my lab, sitting in my lab and talking with you.
Okay. Could you place the area you are living right now currently?
Okay, this is Kumo National Institute of Technology, and this is in Gumi City in Korea, you know. And that's it.
Could you share with us how is the situation with the pandemic now in Korea?
As you know that the second wave already started, and number of patients are increasing nowadays. Till yesterday, you know, the total number of patient is 34,201 in Korea.
Wow.
And but already 27,625 patients already cured. Only 6,000 people now in isolation. And you know, South Korea made an example for all the country for controlling COVID-19, you know. Yeah. So in here, in my university, actually from the beginning to now, the situation like everything like normal. We know that the situation is very difficult outside everywhere, but university give us instruction how we have to stay. So we are following their instruction. and I'm staying in my laboratory most of the day, and at night just I'm sleeping in my room. So and during the period in when the number of patients is higher in Korea, at that time, at the peak period,
Yeah.
so at that time we didn't move anywhere. We just staying in our area, like in my lab and my room, and we are buying foods from through online ordering.
I
And
see.
like sometime we are visiting super shops close to our house, but we're keeping distance from other people, and always wearing mask, and everywhere is sanitization. And it's surprising, you know that everywhere, like lift and the door, main door, everywhere is virus protection tapes.
I see.
Yes, and everywhere is sanitizer. Like if you getting in bus, there is in the door, or in front of the building, or in front of the shop, everywhere. And the citizens, they are cooperating the government rules and government instruction. So at the peak period, like I'm Muslim, I go to mosque. So, but that time the mosque is closed. But now it's open.
It's open.
But we are following the instruction, like keeping distance and mask, and like whatever we have to take ourselves safe, and for thinking others. So this is the situation here.
I see. But you all safe there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
till now, in last vacation, like July and August, from our university, that time, from March to June, that semester in our KIT, that semester was online.
I
And
see.
all courses are online, and we did assignments, class, everything in online. But after that, in July, August, some student came from outside, and so that time we found like 5 or 6 affected students. But the university taken necessary steps, and all are safe, all are cured that time. But now no one affected.
Okay.
And in this September semester, like 2 week or 3 week just online courses, and after that now we are doing face-to-face course. So everything
Wow.
is like normal here in
I
our
see.
university.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. Now, for your information, currently in Indonesia, especially in our campus, we are still doing full online courses. So we haven't have the students to the campus yet. Like me and other lecturers are still teaching, just like basically what I'm doing right now, meeting my students, staring at their faces through my laptops. Now, could you please share with us and motivate your colleagues, your juniors actually, because you are a PhD candidate? So could you please help your, little brothers and sisters? How do you motivate yourself, being still concentrated into through all of the online courses, and still motivated to get a good marks, and keeping coming to the classes, even though it's online? So share your tips and give us some of your advices.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I want to share some parts, my personal things, that from in 2019 November, I lost my father, and I'm here doing PhD, but I visited my country in December. So till 2019 December to now, I'm not going to my country. But in that time, my mother is suffering diabetic. She's diabetic patient. She need to go to visit to doctor. And my wife living in the capital city, where highest number of COVID patients found.
I see.
And at that time, during this time, my wife gave birth our son. Still we are not meeting, just photos and videos.
Yeah.
So for me the situation is very complex, but I'm just thinking about my study. I want to finish my study because the students who went to Bangladesh still they are in Bangladesh because the embassy is closed in there because of the situation. So this is very much difficult for them to come here, and their study is like delaying their study. But for me, I just keep in mind that okay, the situation is tough for both of us, for Korea and Bangladesh. So if I want to go now, the flight is not available, but I can go. But the thing is, it is not safe for them and for me also.
Yeah.
So I just keep in mind that okay, I will go when I finish my study, and I focus on my study, and I'm living in my laboratory, working my PhD research, so that I can finish on time. And in during the online courses, actually this is regular work, you know, for study. We are doing research in computer research work in computer also most of the time. So in online class, it's like it's not different, I think. So it's just our regular works, and we did it during that time. Everyone just finished their semester, like doing online things, assignments, and we finished that semester, and we did the assignment and we submitted through online, and there is no pressure actually that time. And now the students doing online courses in other university, I just want to say that just take it simply what you did in normal situation, because we have to do our study. So, and at least it's our study is going.
Okay, Jamal, I'm sorry I have to stop you there. Could the coordinator please silence our audience? Thank you. Okay, go on, Jamal.
Okay, so I just thought myself that this is not different from other time. I just took my course and I finished my study. But you can think that in my country, in Bangladesh, is still the education institution, most of the education institution, those that are closed, and the study time is lengthy for them. So this is difficult for them, more difficult and frustrating for them. So for doing online, and we are finishing our study, it's, I think, better to finish it as within the duration time.
Okay. Yeah, it should motivate you, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Jamal, first of all, our condolences to the passing of your father, and of course, congratulations to the born of your son. Is this your first child?
Yes.
Wow, it must be heartbreaking, isn't it, to have your first child while you are very far away across the sea in Korea, where your wife is. We're so
That is why I shared my situation.
Yeah, but it should inspire other people, because like while we are complaining about the difficulties of doing online, other people are, you know, facing even more difficult situation like what you have shared with us. So
yes.
sorry to hear that, and again, congratulations, Jamal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will get back to you. Before I get back to you, I would like to say hi to Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hello, I'm Jane here.
Could you please tell me, where are you right now?
I am right now.
Yeah, which city or?
Yes, I'm now studying in Zitan University in Da Nang, university in Da Nang City, a central city in Vietnam.
So you are currently in Da Nang, is it?
Yes, right.
Could you please tell me how's the situation with the COVID there in Da Nang?
Right now, COVID-19, you know that Vietnam has experienced two waves of COVID-19. The first is in January and the second in the July. And the second wave started from Da Nang City, my city. Yeah,
I see.
but after about 1 month, we can control the situation. And right now, I think that almost everyone come back to the normal life, and it's okay for now.
Oh, I see. That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah,
Now, in my notes that you are currently majoring in hospitality and tourism management, isn't
yeah,
it?
right.
As
Yes.
far as I know, with that major, you have to do a lot of practical things. Is that true?
Yeah,
You
because
need to
now
go
I'm at
out,
the
interact with people.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Does it affect the COVID-19? Does it affect your learning process because of the restrictions that the government is giving you?
I yeah, of course, affects affects a lot.
In what way?
Um, right now I'm in the third year, my third year.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any internship yet, but
Uh-huh.
I study the theory almost at school.
Mhm.
But I also have a part-time job. Like I want to know more about the practical
Mhm.
life, how to work, or yeah,
Mhm.
get you to the work environment in a
Mhm.
hotel. But you
Mhm.
know that when COVID-19 come, I have to
Yeah.
drop my part-time job because there are
Mhm.
no guests and no customer anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's challenging for me, and because you know that when you're learning hospitality, if the student must be active, like you
Yeah.
have to interact with a lot of
Yes.
people, so you
Mhm.
have to show be active, talk with people, and
Mhm.
like every day. But when COVID-19 come, you stay at home just alone, learning online. Oh, it's really
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah, it's very hard,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because like it's the same thing with us here in Indonesia. Because
Yes.
like some of our students were supposed to do that internship, but because the companies are rejecting the proposal for doing the internship, that's why some of them are forced to do an online internship where they can do the job from their home, doing this all of these digital works and everything. But then of course we are losing the what do you call it, the core values of internship, isn't it? Going to the company, dealing with other people, experiencing the
Yes.
organization environment. Is that true? Now,
Yes.
the thing is, you are also facing the same thing now, but you told me that the situation is getting better in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Now, what's the next plan for the government? Are you going to go fully on site, offline learning, or you still need to wait until things getting better?
Actually, for now, almost every school and university reopen, and
Mm-hmm.
student can come to school to learn offline. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. However, we still like like the when it comes to the common place, you still
Mm-hmm.
have to wear face mask and have to
Yeah.
wash hand before
Mm-hmm.
entering, in order
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
we still in the safe area, like we still make sure that we are safe from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and for the and with the every university, we still have to clean the campus regularly
Yeah.
to guarantee the hygiene, and
Mm-hmm.
with some subject, because when COVID-19 come, my university transfer
Mm-hmm.
from teaching and studying offline to online on the
Mm-hmm.
platform of Zoom.
Yeah.
So after that, we still use Zoom for some subjects that
Mm-hmm.
we can learn online, like theory
Yeah.
or something like that. We can
Yeah.
learn online in order to lessen the pressure for the university. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I think that learning online is quite convenient
Mm-hmm.
because for some subject,
Yeah.
when get used to it, it's quite
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have to take the positive, isn't it? There must be some
Yeah.
positive for doing online learning. Okay.
Yes. Right.
Now, my last question is, could you please share with us, how does it feel to finally go to class, meet your friends, meeting your lecturers, and learning, directly from your lectures in the class? How does it feel? And does it make you appreciate, being healthy and being in a normal environment?
Yeah. I have to admit that when I come back to school, I'm really happy. you know, because my university is far from my home. So
I see.
yeah, fun from my home. So when I work at home, I come to my university and hope that I can meet my friends. But and after that, COVID-19 come again. I have to come back home and like that. And when I come back to school, finally come back to school to meet my friends and my teacher, yeah, the feeling, of course, is very happy because you know that although learning online has many positive points, have many like yeah, but still have a lot of problems. Like sometimes the
Yes.
internet is not stable, or
Yeah.
it's also restrict the interaction between teachers and students or among students together. Is restricted a lot. And there are many questions that you cannot ask
Yes.
in the online question in online class, or
Mhm.
sometimes it's very challenging to keep concentration on the lesson and like ignore the distraction around you like that. So when come back to school, you can meet your teachers, meet your friends, or to talk with them. It's really happy, and the thing that I have never thought before, because before we meet them like every day and sometimes we fight. That's boring. Oh yeah, it's very normal. But
Yeah.
when we lost the contact for a while, and when we come back together and find it's really precious that we can be together every day to talk
Yes.
together. Yeah, and appreciate the opportunities to be together
Yeah.
more. Yes.
Yes. And be grateful, isn't it, during
Yeah, be grateful, right?
during the good times, and now
Yes.
during the difficult times, we have to be patient and waiting for the moment that it will come back soon again, where we can live like normal as usual. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Jen. I
Yeah, thank
will
you.
get back to you.
Yes.
By that time, I want you to give some, motivations to our students during these difficult times, especially how you deal with that, how do you keep yourself motivated, and then waiting for the good times to come back again. Okay, thank you, Jen. I'll see you soon again.
Yeah, thank
Now,
you.
no problem. I would like to say hi to Bawia.
Hi.
Hi, Bawia. First of all, please tell me I pronounce your name correctly.
And that's the correct pronunciation.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of your names. You know how it is, right? So, Bawia, I was told that you are currently enrolled as our international student. Is that true?
Yes.
Which
Correct.
faculty?
Sorry?
Which faculty are you enrolled in?
Oh, I'm in economics and business.
Okay, economic and business. So basically, you are beside of my faculty building. I'm in communication and business, by the way. So could
Correct.
you tell me where are you right now at this moment?
In my family's house. I live with my parents actually.
Where is it exactly?
In Bandung, Buah
Mhm.
Batu.
Okay, very near to our campus, isn't it? Now,
Yes, very
could
near.
you share with us how does it feel? Like adjusting with the period where we go to class, meet your lecturers, and then suddenly the campus announced that we have to do this online. We have a very limited time, limited interaction between you and your lecturers. What did you feel at that time, and how do you deal with it?
Honestly, it wasn't that hard, or I felt no change because our lecturers used to encourage us to use our learning management system. It's called the Telkom CELOE,
Yes.
Telkom's learning management. So we were already using the learning management system. We were already very comfortable with it. So
Okay.
there was not much, the transition, the shock, the panic, and all these
Yeah.
things were, for me personally, there was no change. I had nothing transitioning in my life. It was very smooth submitting the assignments, and everything was very smooth. So for me, I will say that I had no issue
Okay.
during this period. Yeah.
All right. That's great. Now, how about your social life? Does it affect you a lot?
No.
Not really. Okay.
I mean, honestly, if nobody told me that there's a pandemic outside,
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't
Uh-huh.
know.
I
I wouldn't know that
see.
there's a COVID-19.
All
Yeah.
right. So it doesn't bother you, really, isn't it?
Not at all, not at all.
All
Because
right.
I'm a very private person. I like to keep
Mm,
myself busy, so
mm,
I don't really need people and
uh-huh.
other things to keep me entertained. I keep
Okay.
myself entertained. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can basically entertain yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the positive being, not depending on the social life, right? Okay, now, in terms of motivation, in terms of the difficulty, you said that it doesn't really change you by that much, isn't it? But then again, knowing the fact that you are originally come from India, is that true?
Yes.
Indian nationality. Do you still have relatives there, families, close families?
My extended family still lives over there. Yes.
Did they share with you what they're facing right now in India?
Honestly, for them, it's also normal. Yes, they're
Okay.
restricted. They cannot go out of their house that much. Like my grandparents cannot visit. We are Hindu, so we visit temples like weekly basis. They cannot do that. But we have temples at home. Every Indian house is a temple at home. If you don't know, that's an additional information. So there's not much change, and we talk on WhatsApp. We call, we video call. So it's like living our normal life. There's not much difference between these period as well.
I see. All right. If that's all, I'd conclude that you are one of the lucky people where COVID-19 doesn't really affect you by that much, isn't it?
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, but still though, do you miss being coming to class, meeting your friends in the class, and going to campus and everything?
Definitely. I hate waking up in the morning. That's a good part of online classes. But I definitely miss, because when you are when you are entering into a new semester, the first week and the second week is the time where you really connect with your lecturers. You tend to know that what they expect from you, the kind of assignments they give, are they strict or are they cool lecturers? So how much hard work you need to do during their subject, that's when you really get to know, and it really affects your academic achievements and your scores. The online, we cannot connect with lecturers in any way, even though they try their really best to connect with us, but it didn't just click. There was no that click, that click moment where you understand the lecturer and you understand their expectation from us. So that's a really major drawback from all these online classes, I believe. And I really miss going to campus. I do.
All right. You have to know that not only students, even us lecturers, we miss it so bad. Coming to the class, meeting all of you guys, explaining and discussing, and doing all of these class activities directly right in front of you. Because as all of you experience that it's not that easy to teach, and definitely not easy to learn through online, isn't it? Because we need that physical interaction between student and lecturers. So it's challenging. And then you do mention that you need to judge your lectures whether they're the good one, the soft one, or the killer one, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's difficult to do that, by staring at their faces in the laptop or your PC, isn't it? Okay. What semester are you right now?
Fifth semester.
Fifth semester. So basically, you are already edging into looking to write your script, isn't it? Your final paper.
No, actually, after this, I will have my internship, and then in the next academic year, script.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I wish you all the best, because we don't know yet in Indonesia when are we going to have the chance to get back to our normal life. But then I hope that you will get a good company to do your internship, because our students here in communication and business, we have some difficulties to find internship with the company. So hopefully the situation will get better soon. I will get back to you. Please prepare some of the good words for your colleagues at Telkom University, at UII, or any other audience that we have, so that they will, you motivate them. Okay. Thank you, Wawia. Right. Before I get back to Jamal and Jen, maybe we can have a Q&A session. Do we have question here? Let me see. Anyone would like to ask the questions? Please, click the raise hand symbols, or just unmute yourself and let's have a discussion. We have Brother Jamal, we have Jen, and we have our very own international student Bawia, who does not really affected by the COVID-19, among some of the luckiest people on earth, which I think Which I believe true, but it's a good thing, isn't it? This mean I just think that she has have a very strong mental stage, so that these difficult things that really affect them. Anyone, any questions? If not, I will continue my discussion with our three speakers. Okay, while waiting for your questions, I would like to get back to Jamal. Now, you are doing your PhD. This means you must be in the stage of writing your dissertation, isn't it?
Not now. Now I'm
Not
in
yet.
semester,
Oh, fifth
and
semester.
in the middle of my laboratory works.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, after I finish my laboratory works,
Mm-hmm.
then I will start in next semester.
Okay. In your field of study, when it's come to writing your dissertation, does it require you to go outside to the companies, or just you can just do it on the lab?
Yeah, for my research,
Mm-hmm.
I have to do my research work in my laboratory.
Okay.
And we have one central research laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
I prepared my sample in my laboratory, departmental laboratory, that is solid and hazardous waste management laboratory. And
Mm-hmm.
I prepared the sample. After that, I gave it to the central research laboratory in KIT,
Mm-hmm.
and they did they gave me the results, just machine readings.
Okay. And then based on that result, you do your writing for the dissertation.
Yes.
Yeah, because like there's the difference between me, for example, I'm from social sciences, where
Yeah.
to do our dissertation, we have to go outside, collect the data, meet people, and we are pretty much restricted if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want to do
yeah,
research, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
but
For
it can
social
depend on
science,
your lab, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. Because for social science, you are working on secondary data or
Yeah.
generating data from the public or
Mm-hmm.
the society. But
Yeah.
for our case, we are generating primary data
Mm-hmm.
and doing research in our laboratory and experiments. And based on that experiment results, we are doing our thesis
Okay.
works. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to tell you one thing, that there are so many Indonesian students, youngsters, really dream to continue their study, or at least go for their undergraduate in Korea. Now, could you please tell us, how did you end up in Korea? How did you manage, how do you decide to go to Korea, and how did you manage to reach Korea as a student there? How
Yeah.
difficult it is with the application?
Actually, when I was in my master's program in Dhaka University, Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I was staying in my university dormitory. So one of my senior that time, he got professor funding scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
So he came Korea that time. So I always contact with him about Korea, about Korean education system. So I know something about the Korean education system and research.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, the research facilities and research in Korea now it's world class. And so I have a lot of interest on this. And later I finished my masters and I got a job from another public university as a lecturer. And that university is a new university, so I have lots of responsibility. But I tried to get my IELTS score, because if you want to go outside, you have to prove your English efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got my IELTS, and later I applied for the KGSP scholarship, that is Korean Government Scholarship Program. That one is now Global Korea Scholarship Program. And at that time, I had three article already published in my country. So based on my master's research work, so my experience and also English score, and based on that publications. So when I applied, I think these are important elements to get me here. And for undergraduate or postgraduate, if anyone wants to come Korea, there is like one is government scholarship and another one is professor fund scholarship, like working in research projects. So these two, and another one is self-funding, or if anyone have English score like IELTS and TOEFL score, good score, they can get a scholarship from the university, from our university also, KIT. And in undergrad students, so they can get scholarship based on their results. If they can get good score in first semester, so they will get scholarship in next semester.
Okay.
So these are the admission and education system here.
All right. Thank you, Jamal. Last one for me. Could you please, in one sentence, motivate our audiences, which is we have 160 audience, how to deal with these difficult times? Go on.
Okay, just stay focused and think that this is normal, and finish your study within the time.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Jamal. I wish you all the best with your
Thank
PhD so that you could go home very soon and meet your dear son. Thank you, Jamal. Until I
Thank
see
you.
you again.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, I will go to Jen. Hi, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen, we have actually a question for you from Ahmad Azam.
Yes.
He was asking, what have Vietnam people have done so that they can avoid the spread of coronavirus? And can any foreigner visit Vietnam now?
Oh, yes. All right. So thank you. First of all, I want to thank for the question of the participants, right? Yes. I think I will share something about like you. I think that Vietnam has done quite well to fight against COVID-19, and some newspaper also write about this. So maybe some of you here have read about this. But now I like to share something like from my point of view as a student, as a resident, of Vietnam, like how Vietnam has done to fight against COVID-19. I think the first thing here the first thing here is that the quick and I think is the quick and to some extent overactive response to COVID-19 of the government. You know that during the Lunar New Year festival, in the January of 2020, Vietnam's government said it was declaring war on the coronavirus. Although at that time the outbreak just was still confined in China. To take the fight to coronavirus, Vietnam instituted rigorous quarantine policies and carried out complete tracing of all the people who came in contact with the virus. For example, on February of 12, Vietnam put an entire town of 10,000 people near the capital under quarantine for 3 weeks. At this time, there were only 10 coronavirus cases in the entire country. Authorities also widely and meticulously documented anyone who potentially came in contact with the virus. Like I think I see that we trace after F0, F1, F2, F3, so on. It means that all the people that they interact with the people with the virus, and we send them to the quarantine places. Everything was done very quickly, and we tried to make sure that we know the information of all the people that we contact with the people with virus. And the second thing, I think that Vietnam has done quite well is that Vietnam has combined the traditional and the modern methods of propaganda, lighting to raise awareness of Vietnamese about COVID-19. For example, Vietnamese from the we make the slogan, we make the announcement from the government to the resident, to all the resident of Vietnam to know that the premier has said that every business, every citizen, every resident area must be a fortress to prevent the epidemic. And and the and also, you know, that in Vietnam the young people are many, and so we also have a more nearer accessible with them, like we use the social media. The health minister or even sponsor a song on YouTube about proper hand washing that has gone really viral throughout many countries, and it's make the inspiration for the people. And I think that's all those things the government done had like are encourage all the Vietnamese to believe in what we can do now. We have what we should do to protect ourselves and the community. And I think that the solidarity is the thing that the most important that help people Vietnamese to overcome COVID-19.
All right.
And for now, as I know that foreigner still cannot enter Vietnam.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And there's some special situation that we can, but we have to obey the quarantine rules in order to enter Vietnam.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jen. Hopefully our government could follow the Vietnamese government in dealing with this. Okay. Thank you for sharing with us. Now, please say at least a sentence how to motivate our audience here in dealing with the COVID-19. Go on.
Yeah, in one sentence.
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
No, in English, of course.
Yeah, we don't not understand Vietnamese. Yeah, if there's something to say with the audience, I think that in life there are many things, many problems come to it that we cannot change. But what we can do, but instead of focus on the problems, we should focus on the solution, focus on what we can do now from a point of view. For example, you're a student, so you study and you obey the rules from the government, or yes, and look on the bright side, everything can be better. And it's also COVID-19 is also a test for us. That's what we should prepare now for the future. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
All right. Thank you, Jen. It's been lovely to meet you. I wish you all the best. You are the third year now, and good luck with your major and good luck with your internship. Until we meet again.
Yes.
Bye, Jen. Okay. Next, last but definitely not the least, Bawia. Even though you are saying that, COVID, but it doesn't really affect me that much. But could you please help your friends, your colleagues in Indonesia, to survive all of this just like the way you survive and still, being happy and does not really affected by all this. Go on, Bawia.
Okay. So I believe that we are very privileged. We have a rooftop, we have a house, we have all the necessary things for us to be hygienic and be safe. They're very underprivileged people, and if they can live their life and they can still survive, then I think it should not be a hard job for us. So I think during this pandemic, make internet your best friend. Try to learn new things. I don't know, be it cooking, plantation, or adopt a pet, or learn digital marketing, or even small to small things. These things will keep you going. It will make you happy. So do not just focus on pandemic. Do not just focus on COVID. Just live as if it's not there. I mean, don't go outside, but in your house, just live as it's not there. It doesn't exist, and I think you can survive that way.
All right. Thank you, Bawia. Very inspiring. And just to let you know, we are very proud to have you as one of our international students here, and wish you all the best with the remaining of your study. You still have more or less 1 year to go, and hopefully you have a good memories studying in Indonesia. Thank you, Bawia. Until we meet again, and please drop by in communication and business. I'm around there, so don't be a stranger. All right. Thank you, Bawia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our dear participants, I think that's conclude our session, session 2. I'm very happy to meet all of you. Being a lecturer, it doesn't stop me for being admired and inspired and being amazed by the students like you guys. We could always learn from the young ones, just like all of you have been sharing with me. So I take that as a note that, you know, there's a lot that I can learn from all of you. Okay, before we leave, we are going to have a photo session, I believe. Mrs. Leah?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ayub, for a very interesting conversation with our three speakers, international students from KIT, South Korea, and from Vietnam, Jane, and also from Telkom University, Bawia. Thank you so much. This has been very interesting, and hopefully all the audience get the insight and can think more positive during this pandemic situation. So thank you once again, Dr. Ayub, and good luck, and please stay healthy. Thank you for helping us in this event.
No
So
problem.
before we end the International Students Talk Series 1, I would like to invite all guests and participants to fill out the questionnaire. We have shared the questionnaire in the chat box. Please note that the only participants who will get the e-certificate from this event is only the one who fill out the questionnaire. And the questionnaire will be, the access to the questionnaire only will be open for 2 hours after the International Students Talk series over. So kindly please take notice about this announcement. And after this, I would like to announce the winner of the Kahoot game that we previously played because we failed to show it to you who is the winner. So can operator please share the winner? Okay, we are still waiting. There you go. So this is the winner of the Kahoot games that we played previously. So congratulations to Valentina. You are the winner of the game, number 1 with 7,584 points. And Jane, you also a winner today. Our speaker also a winner today.
Thank you.
With 7,292 points, and also the third place goes to Sugeng Warsito. Okay, thank you for your participation in this game. Also, I would like to, before we close this session, I would like to inform you that on Friday, December 4th, 2020, we will also have another International Students Talk, Series 2. This one, yes, this one. So we're going to have International Students Talk Series number 2 with the theme we are multiculturalism, indigenization, and internationalization. Sorry. So we're going to have our guest star, Emir Mahira, and also international students from Malaysia, and one more from Universitas Islam Indonesia. Okay, so don't miss it. We make sure that you register so you can join us in the next series. Once again, thank you very much for your attention and your participation. Don't forget to fill out the questionnaire in the chat box. Please notice that only participants who fill out the questionnaire will get the e-certificate. We only open the access for 2 hours from now. Thank you so much. I bid you goodbye, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, thank you, and
Thank
all
you, everyone.
speakers, Bawia, Jane, and
Stay
Mr.
healthy
Jamal.
and
Thank
stay
you so much,
happy.
and also all participants.
Thank
I
you,
hope we
everyone.
see you again on Friday.
is the